Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit of a different video, sort of photography related because I did do a lot of photography whilst I was there. But I thought I'd show you my clips and vlog from the day that I went up the Mount BATUR volcano in Bali. Now we thought whilst we were in Bali we might as well climb a volcano because you don't get to do that every day in England especially. Me and Jack went to Bali for 2 weeks last October, so it's almost a year to the date, which is actually kind of devastating that I've not been able to edit this footage until now. But as I was editing it, I thought it's not going to make sense on its own because I was almost too in the moment to actually vlog anything that was coherent. So I thought I'd come on and explain what was going on and how we got there and just the ins and outs of it basically. And all the places that we stayed and the things that we did, I'll leave a link to below in the description box so you can go and check that out as well. So we started our journey in our hotel. So the villa that we stayed in Ubud was called Villa K Lama, and it was an amazing apartment. Me, Jack and Shrai and Tommy stayed in, it was basically a 2-bedroom villa thing with a private pool to ourselves, and then it had like a kitchen in between, and it was just incredible. We started there in the morning and we got up around, I think it was around 2 o'clock. So we just woke up, I think it's about 2 o'clock in the morning. Let me move that out of the way. We're going to trek up a volcano for the sunrise. And I'm so excited! I'm excited! I don't think Jack's as excited. But I've woken up to this view. Let me show you how cute this is. We're in a cool bed. Hear any noises last night?
Oh, the air freshener.
Yeah. The air freshener keeps going off and it's one of those machines that goes and Jack just said that it was a gecko sneezing. But it was hilarious. Anyway, I'll see you later. So before we arrived in Bali, I actually booked this trip online, and as I said, I will leave the link to where I booked it below. It was an amazing and pretty easy and cheap way to book it pretty much. I think it cost about £30 each, and you got fed and you got a personal tour guide, so it's pretty much the 4 of us being toured by one tour guide, and that was amazing because you got sort of more of a personal intimate experience. And I'm not sure if that's how every tour is done in Bali, but this one, it was pretty good for what we wanted anyway, and especially because it was so cheap. Anyway, so we woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I think we was getting picked up about 2:30, and it was about an hour journey from Ubud to Mount BATUR volcano in sort of the middle of the island. And yeah, they basically came and picked us up from our villa, which was amazing as well because it's like door-to-door service. I was a bit skeptical about them arriving because I wasn't sure if it was actually going ahead or if I booked it even right. I think we began the climb around 3 or half 3 in the morning, and it was absolutely pitch black. And because it was so hot in Bali, it's like really humid, it started off being so warm and so dark, so it was a very like weird experience because you were like walking through, it was kind of like a forest but you couldn't see anything, so you just had a little light on your head where you could just see the floor in front of you. It gets steeper and steeper as it goes up, and as you actually go up quite a steep part, you're pretty much on your hands and knees climbing, or at least I was because I felt a bit unstable standing up. But yeah, it was a pretty good experience because as you was getting more to the top, it got cooler and cooler, which was a very weird sensation because you were so warm, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning to then go into a really cool atmosphere. Obviously the air was clearer and thinner. You can't see us.
No.
Morning. How are you?
Good, yeah.
So hot.
Upside down. Villagers, you can see the lake down there.
So as you climb up the mountain, there's people running up and down, basically trying to sell you drinks. So we had this guy running up and down the mountain with us, and he literally was running up and coming back down. We saw him about 4 times, and he was running up and down in flip-flops, and it was crazy. And because it's a volcano, obviously, it was kind of like a soot mixed with like really fine gravelly stones and got in all your shoes. Like I wore white Converse, and it pretty much wrecked them. Bye!
Yeah. See you in a bit.
Bye!
Again. You go down to Ali.
Seems just walking up like dead steep things, just like.
Oh my god, this is hard. After that, we got to the first ledge. It was a little bit cloudy, so we didn't really get to see that much of a sunrise. Obviously, the sun came up and it got lighter, but it was very nice because all the clouds were like dancing and you can see them, and I did a little bit of a time lapse, so you'll see that as well. We just enjoyed the moment of the sun rising. And as we got to the top, our guide went off and got us some coffee, and it was the best coffee I've ever tasted. Before, I would never even drink coffee. I'd always drink tea. I'm a tea drinking person. So when he gave me coffee, I was like, oh no, I'm not going to like this. Anyway, we pretty much piled loads of sugar in it because we just needed the calories from what we sweated out on the way up. And I drank this coffee, and literally it was the best coffee I've ever tasted. I know Bali's known for like their coffee plantations, which we didn't actually go to because I didn't like coffee. But if I was to go back, then I'd definitely go and try as many coffees as I could. So after we drank our coffee, me and Shrai then went to see the place where they cook the eggs and the bananas for breakfast, and they cook it actually inside the volcano and put like a little door of wood on it to just conceal the heat. And it was so hot and unbelievably hot, I can't explain it. It was incredible, the fact that we were literally on this ground where the heat take over at any time basically. It was kind of scary. And then there was some locals singing in the shed, and that was just so nice to hear because it was really authentic. It just felt really authentic anyway. Yeah, I just really enjoyed that. It was very peaceful up there, and there was, even though it was quite busy because obviously it's quite touristy up there. Not gonna lie, it is very touristy, and obviously this experience is pretty much for tourists. But to say that it's so touristy, it didn't feel like you were crowded by people.
We are programmed to receive.
Oh, it's boiling, isn't it?
The eggs, you can see.
They bananas?
I want to make a banana sandwich.
Cool. Just cooking our eggs in the volcano.
You can feel by your hand how hot is the steam.
Oh my god! That was really hot.
Is it?
When the steam hit.
Oh my god, yeah, that is hot. That's so hot.
Wow.
My hand's like sweating now.
Yes.
Tugas kampus liun numpuk aneh pedih.
I like
Kencang, ajab yang penting kencang. Ajab yang penting. Ingin meninggal masuk tugas kampus liun numpuk aneh pedih. Kencang.
And yeah, when the eggs and the bananas were cooked, he then brought them in a sandwich. These sandwiches weren't the nicest of sandwiches, I've got to admit. I'm not a big fan of banana sandwiches. I don't think I've ever tried a banana sandwich until then, but these sandwiches were hot and it kind of made me feel a bit sick. So he kind of just stuck to the eggs, and then there were like a packet of biscuits, so he pretty much just nailed the packet of biscuits. Ate what we could apart from the banana sandwiches. But because the guide had made them and he like made a big deal about them, Jack kind of made his way through them just so that we didn't leave them all.
Breakfast cooked by the volcano.
Thank you very much.
Mon batur.
Yay! Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
What's in the sandwiches?
Banana, which I steaming the banana in the hole.
I've never had a banana
Yeah,
sandwich.
hot banana sandwich. Go.
That is
and
amazing.
have it.
Hot
And
banana
the tail
sandwiches.
maybe put in here.
And the sun's coming out.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of banana sandwiches.
I don't like that. I'm just going to go for the egg.
It's a bit warm. a bit minging.
After we'd finished our breakfast, the guide then drew on the ground our way back, because I think there was 3 craters to Volcano, and he was just explaining which way we would like to go. I think we chose the hardest or longest way round. We just thought we might as well do the longest way back down, and he said it was the best way to go, so we just did that.
Oh, that's nice and warm.
We then made our way down. We thought that coming up was bad, but going down is so much harder. There's like ridges, literally you're walking on like a ridge and it's just drop at each side, and you've got sticks so you can sort of use them to navigate your way around. Even then you kind of feel a bit uneasy because the ground's so soft and flimsy that you like put your feet onto it and it just slides away, so you have to kind of like watch where you're putting your feet. You're kind of going up and down as well at some points, and then you just go really vertical, so you're literally on your bum again. And it's a little bit more scary because it's so light and you can see everything, whereas on the way up you just know what's in front of you and you just get on with it, but on the way down it's a little bit more scary. However, saying that, the views were insane. Kind of just took it in because it was just so incredible to see like 360 of Bali and the different views from each side of the crater. It was just amazing, really good. So at this point I kind of was a bit scared of having my cameras out, so I packed them all the way apart from the GoPro which I had on Tommy's head, so he filmed all our descent down the volcano. But I did give my camera to the guide. Well, he insisted, he was like, oh, I'll take some pictures, and he literally was jumping over things and like running in front of us, running behind us, giving me like directions what to do. He was like, bend down, stand up, put your arms out and stuff. So literally it was just like having a mini photo shoot on the way down, which was hilarious, but I also loved it because it was just so fun to see him all passionate about it. And like I said at the beginning, it got really hot at the bottom of the volcano. As you went up it got cold, and as we were going down it obviously got harder because the descent was a little bit steeper, but it got so much hotter and hotter and hotter, so you were sweating all the time. And yeah, so when we got down we walked through the amazing forest that you didn't really understand that it was a forest in the morning. You could tell that it was trees, but when you got down you realised how vast this forest was. We walked through the forest and it took us a little bit of a while, but then we kind of recognised our trail where we'd come up, recognised the way that the path turned off and stuff, so you knew where you were kind of. On the way down the guide showed us all these temples, and there was people in, I think it was rice fields or maybe like harvesting some sort of crops, and he had a chat with them. And yeah, when we got down we then went to a little cafe just to buy a drink because we were so thirsty on the way down. That's one thing that I'd 100% recommend taking, is water, because you will literally sweat buckets as you're going up. You're literally using every ounce of your energy, and I would 100% recommend doing it because it's such an experience. It actually didn't take that long, and then we got down for like 9 o'clock in the morning, so it was very weird because we had the morning still. They took us back to our villa, and by the time we got back to our villa we were like, it's only midday. It feels really odd that we've done all that in this morning. It's so worth doing. I definitely 100% recommend doing it if you're in Bali. We then went to the monkey forest, but I will leave that for another video because I think this has probably gone on for too long now, and I really want to just keep this into a little short video just for my sentimental value. Thank you so much for watching. If you've got any recommendations as well, because we're going to the Philippines in December, we've got a little bit of a plan. Any recommendations are welcome. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!
Masuk tugas kampus Lyon Nompo.